Yo, what is up, boys? It is your boy Zeddy here, back at it again with the fourth installment for What If Deku Was Born with Mob's Powers. Now, before I start the video off, you guys know what I'm going to say. Make sure to go down below in the description and go subscribe to your boy's second channel. Not only is it my second channel, but it's a group channel with people who I'm pretty sure many of you guys are familiar with. The people of the likes of Rogue X, Izukage, and Phoenix Sani. We have decided to join forces and overtake We the Celestials, and that is our mission. Alright, so help us out by going down below, clicking the link, and subscribing, seeing as we will be dropping our first videos very soon. And when we do, it's going to be 4 uploads on the same day. So yeah, definitely don't want to miss that. But with that being said, I don't want to waste your guys' time too much, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we start this part off, I am going to be having to give a little bit of a breakdown for what happened on the last part. It's been about 5 days since the last part, so I definitely think you guys deserve a little bit of a recap, just due to, you know, everything that's happened. So if you guys can remember, Bakugo was let back into school due to Deku convincing All Might and you guys voting on the poll. And he was even able to meet Dabi, not Deku, but Bakugo was able to meet Dabi, and essentially just Bakugo was able to meet Dabi, and this is going to have major ramifications for the series later on, due to the fact that Dabi is going to be somebody that Bakugo knows, and that's just going to lead to an even faster takedown of All for One. So with that being said, make sure you guys go get your snacks and everything, because we're about to get started, and you know, you guys are gonna love it. Oh, also, you know, Deku was about to fight Bakugo in the last part, so yeah. In the UA Sports Festival, by the way, just in case you guys are thinking anything otherwise. But yeah, that's basically what we're gonna be doing. All right, so as I said, after the battle with Todoroki and Todoroki was sent to Recovery Girl, Deku would basically just be looking at Bakugo, who was sitting in the stands, as Bakugo would basically just nod at Deku. Deku would do the same, as immediately Deku would go into the waiting room, and this is when Bakugo and Deku would just both be preparing themselves mentally for the battle ahead of themselves. Seeing as, well, they haven't done anything like this in a while, and, you know, they haven't fought against one another for quite a long time, so they, you know, they kind of don't know what they're doing in terms of everything right now. So yeah, that being said, Bakugo would basically just be getting himself mentally ready for the fight that's about to happen, and Deku would just be deciding whether he's gonna go all out on Bakugo and give him that sort of respect, or whether Deku should let it be a better fight, a good fight. Deku at the end would basically just decide on one of the options, and this is when they would be outside on the stage. Bakugo would look towards Deku's direction as he would say, "Go all out, Deku. Don't hold anything back." Deku would say, "I wasn't planning on it." As Bakugo would smile, and he would then look at Deku, to which Deku would look at him, and they would both basically just hear the people present mic saying, "Ready, 3, 2, 1. Immediately, Deku would proceed to move his hand, and Bakugo would just be full on as he would go crashing into the wall. But before Bakugo would be able to hit it, he would propel himself into the air, as he would then say, "AP shot," blasting at Deku's direction, as Deku would smile and saying that, you know, that's Bakugo for you. As Deku would immediately turn his finger, the AP shot would blitz back at Bakugo, and it would start going through him, just leaving you know, battle scars on him, as he would just start using it in the way that, you know, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy uses his little arrow thing. He would just start hitting Bakugo in that way until Bakugo just gets worn down, and Bakugo would then proceed to say enough, as he would blast an explosion at Deku's direction. Deku would just, you know, Deku would literally proceed to basically blow at the air, as the explosion would propel right back at Bakugo. Bakugo would just be knocked out immediately, and this would lead into Deku being the winner of the festival. As soon as Deku wins, Inko, who's actually in the stage, would actually jump on over everything and would just rush to hug Deku, as she would basically look at Deku and just say that she's so proud of him for finally understanding what she meant. She would say that, you know, she's glad that he's becoming a fine hero, and Deku would smile at her as he would say that it's all thanks to her that he is. And Inko would basically look at Deku as she would say that, "No, this is your hard work, not mine." as Deku would smile, and you know, everybody in the crowd would be like, "Who is this lady?" To which Deku would just basically say, "It's my mom." everybody would just start laughing, and this is when Uraraka would rush out and hug Deku as well, to which people would be like, ooh, I see what's going on. Deku would then proceed to walk away with his mom and Uraraka, and they would go out to get some celebratory dinner. To which the very next day, they would all basically go back to class, and it's on this day where they're all told that they're going to be having to pick their hero names. Deku would pick the name of the psychic hero, Mob Psycho, as everybody would actually think that that name is actually pretty impressive. You know, they're kind of surprised by the fact that he thought of that all on his own. Deku would say that he didn't. His mom actually gave him the idea. And he would then look towards Uraraka's, as she would basically tell everybody that, yeah, she also helped pitching in with, coming up with the name. As, everybody would just be like, huh, must be nice. As everybody else's name and stuff like that would be as everything was in the original. Now, Deku would of course still end up going with Gran Torino, just due to the fact that All Might is still low-key Deku's teacher. So if All Might was to, tell Deku that, he should go with somebody, Deku's not going to think twice before trusting All Might, because All Might has never led him astray, so why should he ever think that now? So yeah, Deku's going to go with Gran Torino, and in terms of Bakugo, he's still going to go with Best Genius, except this time, he's actually going to be getting a little bit of experience other than just learning how to be a hero and, kind of being told by Best Genius that, he needs to comb his hair and wear jeans all the time on everything. Jeans on jeans on jeans. Best Genius drip is low-key, like, so weird. Imagine seeing somebody dressed like that IRL. I feel like if I was to ever see somebody dressed like Best Genius, I would immediately just start roasting them. Like, I would just go crazy. Like, their career, it would just be over after I get the first word out. I mean, unless there's some roast god and they just clap back at me, then, it's GG for them, because, it's like, come on, bro. I know I didn't just catch you wearing that outfit right now. But, yeah, that being said, I'm getting off on a tangent. So, yeah, essentially that's what pretty much ends up happening in terms of the events for, what internships everybody ends up going to. Uraraka would still go with Gunhead, and they would all basically just be vibing. Deku would be with Gran Torino, and I'm not going to lie, Gran Torino would basically just be telling Deku that there's really not much he can teach him. He would tell Deku that, in terms of his abilities, he's second to none. If he was to be honest with himself, he could probably take down All Might with the just moving his hand. And Gran Torino would tell him that due to that, what they're going to be focusing on today is his physical body. He's going to get trained to take a hit even more than he already has, and he's even going to train his reaction speed. Yep, a little similar to my What If Deku Had the 8 Gates, because they're both pretty OP in their own rights, but Deku's also going to have to be training on his body, just due to the fact that he's not as physically ripped as anybody else. So yeah, Deku would definitely just be having a pretty decent time in terms of what he's doing for the moment. So yeah, it's pretty much what Deku does with Gran Torino, and this would lead us into the Hosu City incident, to which I honestly forget whether I captured Shigaraki or not, but I am pretty sure that Shigaraki did end up getting captured, just due to the fact that I don't know, was Shigaraki captured? The fact that I forgot this, hold on guys, give me a second, I gotta go check, because if I don't, I'm gonna get told by everybody that, oh, didn't you say Shigaraki was, and yep, not having it. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure Shigaraki actually did get away, just due to the fact that I looked at my script and I saw that, all the events that happened prior with Deku basically just failing to use his powers due to him being afraid. But yeah, Shigaraki's still out there. So yeah, I'm gonna say that all the normal events with the Nomu and all that stuff ends up happening, except this version of Deku would immediately, before anything could happen whatsoever, Deku would literally just hold his hands up in the air, as he would immediately just start sensing around everybody in the area of Hosu, as he would just start sensing all the negative actions, emotions, and thoughts that are going around him. As this one, immediately he would sense that Stain was about to cripple Ida for life by basically just destroying Ida's spinal cord, and immediately Deku would snap his fingers as Stain would just get knocked out. Deku would then basically teleport over to all of the Nomus, each one by one, just individually, and he would just proceed to have them all compress into one another, as they would all basically just get sucked into a tiny black hole. Deku would then proceed to just say that maybe if things were different, he wouldn't have had to do that, but as things stand, there was no other choice. And Gran Torino would just be shocked. He would be like, this kid is too powerful. What would have happened if he would have become a villain? There would have been nobody alive who could have stopped him. And yeah, Gran Torino, you are absolutely right. If this version of Deku was to become a villain, you would have had no hope. Like none. Like it would have just been a GG series. Like absolutely no hope. But yeah, that being said, Deku would then proceed to go back to Gran Torino as he would fix the bus, and he would then start healing everybody in the area who got hurt or damaged. And this would lead into the Hosu City incident barely ever being covered on the news. A lot of people wouldn't even know that it even happened, and Deku would get all the praise. He would not be told that to give it to, Endeavor, seeing as Endeavor wasn't even arriving by the point that Deku stopped everything. The explosions, yeah, that stuff didn't happen. The worst thing that happened was the train. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of what happened for the training arc. This means that Deku was actually able to continue training with Gran Torino for a couple extra days, and this would have led into Deku getting a little bit more toned out in terms of his body, and also kind of being afraid of Gran Torino just due to the fact that he got that same treatment that All Might did so many years ago. And as soon as Deku went back to class and All Might saw how Deku was in terms like his body and stuff, All Might was just like, he gave you that treatment, and Deku was just like, yeah, he did. And All Might would just start laughing as he would say, ho, 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 ho. That was cringy. And, basically Deku would look at All Might as he would say, so, that's why you reacted like that when I mentioned his name. All Might would basically say that, yeah, he still has night terrors about how Gran Torino trained him back in the day. Deku would say that he can see why. And All Might would then begin to basically just start chuckling with Deku. As they would both basically just keep talking about how the internship happened, Deku would then see Uraraka come over to him, and she would begin to basically be pretty hype about her experience. She would tell Deku that, the thing that she did with Gunhead and the martial arts was so awesome. She got to learn so much from a pretty good fighter. And Deku would be just happy to hear that Uraraka is doing some pretty cool things. It's at this point that Deku would look towards All Might, and All Might would basically look at Deku as he gives him a little bit of a stare, telling him, come on, you gotta ask the girl out. With Deku just basically looking at All Might going red, as immediately he would look towards Uraraka as he would say, hey, Uraraka, I was kind of wondering if you wanted to maybe go out. And Uraraka would say, sure, like the other day. Deku would look at her as he would say, like a date. And Uraraka would immediately just start floating in the air, as Deku would just say, oh no, did I do something wrong? Deku would immediately heal her, as he could see that she's just fine. There was nothing wrong with her. All Might would just start laughing, and Deku would just be freaking out, wondering what he did wrong, as All Might would say that she's just excited probably, and that's just her quirk reacting to her emotions. As Deku would say that he hopes she is, he would ask her if she wants to go, and Uraraka would say that yes, she is so down to go with Deku. To which Deku would basically smile, and he would say, great, I'll pick you up at 8. Uraraka would say, you can drive? Deku would say, no, I'll just teleport to you, and we can just go straight to wherever you want to go. Uraraka would say, sure, that sounds fun. And after this, Deku would go over to Uraraka's place later in the day, getting all dripped out. Our boy Deku would definitely, I feel like this version of Deku, just due to the fact of how he is, he would definitely dress up in more of a dressier way, and he would definitely take her out in like a more fancy place, I guess you could say, just due to his mom. I feel like this version of Deku would low-key get dressed by his mom, so excuse me for the drip attire that I'm going to be giving him. Deku would actually, this is actually going to be kind of heat. Deku would be wearing a white button up, can't go wrong with the white button up ever. He'd be wearing his dad's watch, it was given to him by him on his birthday, and he would be wearing a bow. Yep, a black bow with black pants and black shoes and a belt. Honestly, I can't picture it right now all in my head, but I feel like it might be cool. So yeah, that's Deku's drip in terms of, what he's going to be wearing for the date. Uraraka would just be wearing, a really cool dress, and they would both basically meet up together at Uraraka's house, where Deku would teleport straight in her room, and Uraraka would be like, whoa, you could have knocked. Deku would say that, oh, right, sorry, I teleported to the wrong place. I meant to do it outside. Uraraka would say that it's fine, and Deku would then look at her as he would say that she looks really good today. Uraraka would go red in the face, and they would go on a little mini date or whatever. Now, it's after all of these events where, they're then going to go back to class, and they're going to then basically just go over the finals race and everything. Ida would go up to Deku as he would thank him for saving him back there with Stain, and Deku would say not to mention it, that he would have done the same thing for him, but telling Ida and scolding him about what he did with Stain, telling Ida that he should never do something like that ever again. Stuff like that. Being a hero isn't about getting vengeance or, doing things for yourself. Being a hero is about being selfless and saving people's lives, not getting revenge on people who hurt your brother. Your brother was still alive, and you may not have survived that encounter with Stain. So next time you got to think about what you're doing, class rep. As Ito would basically tell Deku that he's right, and Deku would then say not to sweat it, as everything turned out good in the end, right? Ito would say yeah, and this is when they would both basically just continue on with their day, as they would be told about the little finals, about the race they're going to be having to find All Might and save him, the rescue hero race, as Deku would just teleport over to All Might and save him. And this is when we're now going to skip on over to the finals, which is a little bit boring, honestly. The finals doesn't really have too much content for anything at all. Deku and Uraraka would continue going on other couple of dates, and seeing as this version of Deku likes to take it slow, there's no studying done yet. They still haven't hit the books that hard yet. As Deku and Uraraka still in the dating stage. They barely started dating, and I'm just gonna say that at this point, Deku, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Deku would basically proceed to just go into class one day where they would all be told about their finals and all that stuff. And, they would all basically just be told to study for a week, as Deku and Uraraka would just go on dates, as I said. And in terms of the tests, Deku would ace it. Come on, our boy Deku is smart. Our boy Deku is big brain. So, yeah, Deku would definitely do great in terms of that portion. And in terms of, sorry, had to clear my throat real quick. Pause. In case any of you guys were like, where were you clearing it from? Because I feel like some of you guys are probably going to comment something like that down below. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, Deku would proceed to basically walk in there, as he would see that they're all going to be fighting against teachers. But when Deku has to fight against All Might with Bakugo on his team, they would actually be a pretty great combo. And in terms of fighting All Might, Deku just completely wipes the floor with him. I'm sorry, but I know All Might's powerful and all, but Mob would completely wipe the floor with All Might. Even if it was Prime All Might and you gave him a power up times 100, Deku would still just destroy All Might. There's no if, ands, or buts to it. It's just as simple as All Might. You may be powerful, but Deku's god tier. The man don't play no games. So yeah, that's basically how that whole stuff ends up happening. And now we are finally going to be able to cut on over to the forest training area. Now, it's during this time where they're all basically told to get on the bus, and they're all told that they're going to need to go get their stuff. As the mall incident would happen, except this version of Deku would go off with Uraraka, so Shigaraki would never actually end up grabbing Deku all by himself, and that would never happen as a situation in a whole. Shigaraki would still be upset about Stain, but he wouldn't really be able to do anything to Deku just because of that. And this would lead us into all of them being in the bus, just kind of messing around until they arrive at the location that they got dropped off at. And they would all basically just be told by the Wild Pussycats that they are going to have to go to that area from this area. Deku would immediately look at her as he would say, okay, we'll go, as he knew exactly what they were trying to do. Deku would immediately just teleport everybody in Class 1A over to the area, including the teachers and Aizawa, and he would say, all right, we're here. And, they would all just kind of face palm as they would say, dude, it was supposed to be a challenge. Deku would say, no. And, this is when they would all basically just look at each other. They're like, I guess you guys are going to start your normal training now. And, the first day they would have their normal training. And that's essentially how the forest training arc stuff is going down for the moment, for the time being. Now, this is when they would all basically have their normal events, just like in canon, such as the sauna incident. Or no, not sauna. I don't think it's a sauna. I think it was hot springs. And, Mineta still would have been a creep like usual, just because Mineta's always going to be Mineta. That's just never stopped. Walls are meant to be climbed. A great quote by Mineta. It's definitely true, but it doesn't apply to all scenarios. So that being said, Mineta still tries to climb, and Deku still ends up catching Code after he falls, and Code ends up telling Mineta to get away from the girls. As Mineta falls, and he would get knocked out unconscious, just like our normal Mineta. And yeah, that's basically how this little scenario of the forest training arc is going so far. But if you guys want to see the finale for what if Deku was born with Mob's powers, you guys are going to be having to tune into the next part, which is going to be the finale. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I could have covered the finale right here, but that means it would have been like a 40-minute part, and I'm not trying to record 40 minutes. Like, I just finished doing like 50 minutes of recording before this, so I am tired and I need air. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys want to see the next part, make sure to like the video, comment down below your attendance, as well as go to the link down below and subscribe to our new channel, The Akatsuki. That being said, it has been your boy Zether, and I am out. Peace.